My Fish Canada should appear down along the bottom left. As the automation runs, it'll give the command to replicate.com, and then it sleeps for 90 seconds, and then it requests the image, it names the image, and it uploads it to Google Drive. The next step in the automation is to add on a couple more steps at the end so that we'll have the large language model look at the image and write a description and give us tags for it. And then we'll have another large language model take that image and upscale it and upload it to our Google Drive. Then we're going to have everything that we need to upload the upscaled image into Adobe with the description and the tags and submit it for their review. The next few days I will be processing and uploading images to Adobe Stock, and in a week I'll do a follow-up video to say this is what I did for a week and here are the results. And I'll keep doing that and I'll show you the results. My favorite art pieces are those that are more stylized than realistic. Those that are seriously art pieces, they're fantastic. So as I review the realistic pictures compared to the art pictures, I like these ones better, and I think that this will probably sell better on Adobe Stock images. This is really fantastic for a branded image. Some of the images are fantastic, but they don't really match. You just don't use paddles that way. And this one looks kind of scary. Beautiful. This is where it gets amazing. A really one-of-a-kind art piece that can never be generated again. Really beautiful. This is 3D people, like a little toy people. Not bad, a little too realistic even. There, again, this one really is just astonishing. Beautiful. Really nice. Artistic. Beautiful. Fantastic. Yeah. Yes. Not bad. We can crop out some good stuff from this. There. That's a beautiful image. That would sell, I'm sure. Nope. Oh, wow. You know, some of these are astonishing. Wow. Really nice. Beautiful. Kind of a wonky dog. Nice to see the temperature on this. I like this LLM. Not bad. This is really, really amazing. These two images are from the same prompt. This is what's amazing to me. There's another. Beautiful. Fantastic. So these are the images that we just generated now. Really, absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. This is great. These are really fun pictures. I love it. It's got the branding in there, really nice. Beautiful. And that wraps it up for this video. Join the 7-day trial, get all of these automations, the entire plan, and start putting this to work for yourself too. Stay safe, everyone. Here's to your success.
OpenAI has just released the GPT Store, marking the App Store moment for AI. Looking back to 2008 when Apple unleashed their App Store, only those with app development skills got a slice of the millions the App Store generated. The difference for us today is that the skills required to create the GPT Store and start making money can be learned in an hour or two rather than 3 years of software engineering. That's why today I'm going to teach you absolutely everything that I know about building GPTs and making money from it as a beginner, so that you can take advantage of the easy money new platforms like this offer before it's too late. However, since there's going to be tens of thousands of people rushing to this new opportunity, the challenge is not knowing how to create GPTs, but how to create actually valuable GPTs that can stand out from the competition and generate you passive income for years to come. Teaching you the skills required to do so is the goal of this video. And before you sit down and listen to another random guy on the internet teaching how to make money online, you need to know a little bit about the person giving the advice. If you're new to the channel and don't know who I am, my name is Liam Otley and I run my own AI agency called FiveAI, and I also run the largest community of AI agency owners in the world, where my students learn how to make money by selling AI solutions to businesses, just like the GPTs you're about to do. I'm originally from New Zealand, I now live in Dubai, and I've been doing online business for the past 5 years. Over the past 12 months, I've sold nearly $500,000 of AI chatbots to my clients, and I've taught the people in my free and paid communities how to sell tens of thousands of dollars worth of their own. The reason I'm making this video today is that within my own agency, we are starting to see a massive shift in demand away from the normal AI chatbots we're used to building towards AI agents like GPTs that are equipped with tools and knowledge. The change in demand has been so significant that we have pivoted almost all of our resources to going all in on this opportunity and are specialized in AI agent creation, the majority of which is done through my AI agent platform, Agentive. Now, I hate to ramble on about myself, but when I was starting out in online business all those years ago, I wasted my time listening to people who weren't qualified to give the advice they gave. So I've been in your position before, and I don't want you to go through what I did. So that's a little bit about me. I hope you think I'm qualified to be given the information I'm about to share. As you can probably tell by the length of this video, I'm not holding any secrets back from you. I've structured this video into 3 different chapters, starting right from the basics of what is a GPT, all the way up to the advanced deployment techniques that I've found to make money with GPTs. But feel free to skip around using the timestamps along the bottom so you can start wherever your skill level is. Chapter 1 is Foundation. In order to make money with GPTs, you need to properly understand GPTs and the opportunities they present. This chapter covers the basics for beginners right up to the dangers and pitfalls of becoming a GPT creator that no one's talking about right now. Chapter 2 is Skills. In this chapter, I break down each of the 5 different skills you need to know to be able to crush as a no-code GPT developer and to be able to make passive income from the GPT store. And some of the skills you need, you definitely wouldn't expect. And finally, chapter 3 is Creation. In this final chapter, I walk you through creating your first GPT that incorporates all of the available features on the GPT platform, and I'll also show you how to jailbreak that same GPT and use it elsewhere on places like websites, WhatsApp, and more. In order to get the most out of this video, I want you to close out of all of your tabs, save this video to your watch later, and give yourself the next 2 to 3 hours to study the information in this video. I want you to go and get a notebook and a pen because there is far too much information in this video to soak it all in on your first run through. And if you've done all that, we are ready to get started. Chapter 1, Foundation. What are GPTs? For those complete beginners here, we're going to be starting from the basics. First things first, we need to identify what is a GPT. Well, GPTs are best described as custom versions of ChatGPT. Essentially, they are customized versions of ChatGPT that have been modified to be better at a specific task or more helpful to a certain type of person. For example, some of the most popular GPTs to date have been Canvas GPT, which allows you to create designs and graphics from natural language. Secondly, you have Grimoire, which is the #1 community-made GPT at the moment, which makes you a 100x engineer, allowing you to build websites and more with prompt programming. This particular GPT is so high ranked because it has been cleverly marketed by the owner, which we'll be going into depth on later. Then we have things like Designer GPT, which is a community-made GPT, which generates and hosts websites for you in just one prompt. Each of these and the other popular community-made GPTs, which I'll leave a link to the leaderboard down below if you want to check it out. But each of these have been created by modifying the functionality of the base ChatGPT to be better at a specific thing by using what I like to call the 3 ingredients of a GPT. These 3 ingredients are prompting, so you can give your GPT a detailed set of instructions to determine its behavior. For example, the response length or the response style or the GPT's goal or purpose can all be communicated via prompting. The second ingredient is knowledge. The GPT builder allows you to add your own files like PDFs, spreadsheets, or other documents to allow your GPT to draw information from these documents when responding to user queries. So essentially a ChatGPT on your data, which was a hugely popular concept last year. And thirdly, actions. So actions are special functions that your GPT can perform outside of just writing a text response to the user. You can use either OpenAI's existing capabilities like image generation with DALL-E, browsing with Bing, or the code interpreter, or you can create your own custom capabilities that do things like send emails or book restaurants and more. Actions can also be called tools or functions, as you will likely see later in this video. Different combinations of these 3 ingredients of prompting, data or knowledge, and actions can create any kind of modified ChatGPT that you can imagine. But it is important to note that only one of these ingredients is actually required when creating a GPT, and that is prompting, with knowledge and actions being optional. However, knowing how to effectively find and add the right kinds of knowledge and create custom actions for your GPTs is how real value is created. Later in this video, I'll be walking you through how to learn these valuable skills step by step so that you can immediately create high value GPTs and start making money with your skills in 2024. It's important to note that GPT is just a fancy name for an agent. In artificial intelligence, an agent is a computer program or a system that is designed to perceive its environment and make decisions and take actions to achieve a specific goal or set of goals. Basically, agents are chatbots on steroids. The chatbots we're used to typically just reply with a often pre-written response or some basic AI-generated output. Agents can do far more than just send a text reply. They can interact with APIs and anything across the web, which allows you to do some pretty cool stuff with them. You could theoretically have an agent that would fire a nuke for you as long as you told it the location and provided the launch code. That's kind of the triggering of actions that you can do with agents. If this sounds confusing at all, don't worry, because later in this course, I'll be walking you through creating your own GPT or agent from complete scratch, and everything will start to click into place. GPTs are really OpenAI's way of introducing the world to AI agents, but this is just the first step in a much larger plan to introduce autonomous agents to our world. More on this later. The App Store opportunity. At the time of filming this, OpenAI has just released the GPT Store. People are calling this the App Store moment for AI, which, if this is true, we have possibly the biggest opportunity to create wealth of the next decade in front of us as regular people. This is the equivalent of being one of the first people to create an iPhone app in 2008 and list it on the App Store. Now, I know that is a big statement to make, so please stick with me while I back it up. I know how painful it is hearing every second YouTuber talking about the big next opportunity, but give me a second and I will back it up. If you're a smooth-brained Gen Z kid like me, we missed the App Store opportunity in 2008 because we were too young. And even if you were old enough in 2008, creating apps was only really possible for the privileged few who had learned how to code and were really in the right place at the right time to jump on the mobile apps opportunity. The point here is that historically, when new platforms arise, it is stupidly easy to make money because there is so much attention, so much demand, and yet limited supply. And the entire market and ecosystem around the platform has not really found equilibrium or found balance point yet. So there are countless opportunities to catch a little slice of the wealth flowing into the space from investors and sponsorships and new startups with big budgets that they need to spend somewhere. We've seen this with new platforms time and time again. Firstly, of course, we have the World Wide Web, where early players caught the .com boom and were able to get millions and millions of dollars in funding with just a name that says .com in it. And they ended up exiting for hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. Mark Cuban sold his company Broadcast.com, which is radio put on the internet, for $1 billion, and it's nothing now. Secondly, of course, we have the Apple App Store. For the people who were early to the App Store and were early builders, the money came fast. In the first 12 months following the App Store's launch, a guy named Steve Demeter created a puzzle game called Trism, which turned over $2 million. Another guy called Bill Rapos launched an app development company called, wait for it, Great Apps, and was making $100,000 per month within a few months of launching an app called iSteam that took 7 days to build.
The free application in the App Store, 2 out of 5 stars.
Hell, some guy even made an app called I Am Rich that cost $1,000 and did nothing and sold 8 copies in 24 hours. Thirdly, Facebook and Google ad platforms. Anyone who was early to these advertising platforms had ridiculously low advertising costs and basically printed money with super basic ad creatives and landing pages. Now, years later, the rest of the world has caught on, and now companies struggle to profitably spend money on paid traffic due to the rising costs and competition. Finally, number 4 is TikTok. The growth that the early creators on TikTok saw was insane, and many of these guys and girls have gone on to become some of the biggest stars in the world. Think of people like Charli D'Amelio and Bryce Hall and Addison Rae, all these kind of creators. Now, that kind of short form content is fiercely competitive and a lot harder to get that kind of growth. I'm sure you get the point, but what I'm trying to say is that early typically equals easy, or at least early equals greatly increased chance of getting lucky and seeing disproportionate success. If you tried to go onto Facebook ads and get ridiculous returns now, the chance of you getting disproportionate success is much lower than it was when it first started. That's what I'm trying to say here. So it's clear that if the GPT Store does take off and become the App Store of AI, there is a huge opportunity for us. But how can we actually make money from the GPT Store? OpenAI has announced that there's going to be revenue sharing for GPT creators. However, Sam Altman has said that we're going to pay people who build the most valuable and most used GPTs a portion of our revenue. Does that mean that there's a minimum usage requirement before you start to get paid? How much will the revenue share be, etc.? There's a lot of questions around that. I actually don't want to say too much on the revenue side of things just yet, because at the time of filming this, they haven't released a store yet, but by the time you watch this, they will have released a store yet. Hopefully more information will have been revealed by then. So I'm going to make a video following up on this, talking about revenue sharing, etc. So make sure you subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss that. But honestly, I'm not expecting too much here in terms of revenue sharing, and I think it may have been more of a marketing tactic to get everyone hyped about building on the platform, but I would love to be proved wrong. So if the payments from OpenAI are lackluster, what options do we have to make solid income from this GPTs and agents boom? Well, I'm glad you asked. The truth is the GPT store is only one part of a much larger picture. Sure, creating valuable GPTs and getting tons of usage that will earn you a few $1,000s a month is great, but honestly, I don't know if that will be possible for the majority of us. The reality is that those with the audiences and the means to effectively market their creation in the GPTs will have a massive edge over your average GPT creator. For example, if I made a GPT for AI agency owners, I could pump it up in its ranking on the store by making videos about it. Not all of you watching this can do the same. All is not lost though. As I said, GPTs are just a small part of a much larger picture. AI agent building is the most valuable skill of 2024. So we've established that GPTs are just a fancy word for AI agents, right? Or AI assistants, or whatever you want to call them. Basically, AI chatbots with a unique mix of prompting, knowledge, and actions, the three ingredients. That means that if you learn how to create GPT, you're technically learning how to create AI agents, no? Correct. Well, the good news is that knowing how to create AI agents is going to be one of the most valuable skills and future-proof skills that you can have in 2024 and beyond. Not just for your personal use and productivity, but for making money online, as I'm about to explain. The AI agent landscape is expanding rapidly and is set to be one of the most, if not the most, world-changing fields of technology in the next decade. A world where AI agents can speak to customers, handle complex tasks, and join companies as part of their AI workforce is really where all of this is heading. But don't take it from me. Take it from all of the biggest AI and tech companies in the world, which have made it clear that AI assistants with custom actions, aka tooling, is where they are placing their bets. One of OpenAI's biggest competitors, Anthropic, has recently announced that their model Claude will have API tool usage, aka actions, in its 2.1 version. Google has just released Gemini, the multimodal GPT-4 killer, which will undoubtedly support custom actions and agent creation in the near future.
It looks like a bird to me.
Even Amazon is expected to add agent creation and hosting services to its existing cloud offering as well. Across all these different companies rushing to the same opportunity, the same skill set will allow you to build agents. I'm going to be explaining each of the 5 key skills needed to build agents and the steps you can take to master them in the next chapter of this course before taking you through creating your first GPT and AI assistant step by step at the end of this video. What I want you to walk away from this video with is not only the perspective to see this opportunity for what it really is, but also the knowledge you need to take your first steps into AI agent creation, even as someone who doesn't know how to code. But we're still stuck at the same question. If we learn AI agent or GPT creation, how can we make money from this skill? If you devote the next 2 to 3 months to become a killer agent or GPT developer, how can you monetize these abilities? Well, who needs agents? Basically every business on the planet sooner or later. This happens every time with new technology like the web and mobile apps. When it first takes off, there's a massive need for people who know how to build the technology for businesses so that they can adopt the technology and benefit from the gains. For example, web development agencies popped up to make money by facilitating the adoption of websites by businesses, which website seems quite crazy and stupid at first. Now everyone has one. Then mobile app development agencies popped up to make money by facilitating the adoption of mobile apps by businesses. And now with this magical new AI technology, is a massive need for agencies or freelancers who know how to identify valuable use cases for agents and implement them into businesses. This is the opportunity that I realized last year and created the AI automation agency model, which has since exploded into an online business opportunity. And I've helped thousands to build their own AI agency like mine in both my free and paid communities. But I didn't take this long just to give you a sales pitch. I only bring this up because the success of both myself and of the hundreds of successful AI agency owners in my community, it really proves that there is something here and a way to make money by selling these things to businesses. If I do my job right with this video, you should be able to get started and make money without ever paying me a dime. At least that's the goal of the video. This opportunity to sell AI agents to businesses or anyone who needs them really is the big picture of the GPT store release. For example, local businesses can use the AI agents that you can create in a few hours to automate their customer support or lead qualification. Digital businesses like agencies can use your AI agents to automate their researching and contacting your prospects. Solopreneurs can use your AI agents to supercharge their abilities with content automation or mass outreach tools. The list goes on. For these kinds of use cases, you need to break your GPT out of the ChatGPT site and put them on websites and install them in existing systems. This is easier than you think, and I'll show you how to do this in the final chapter of this video. My point here is that the AI agent market is going to be massive and full of opportunity, and personally, I think it is one of the biggest opportunities of 2024 and beyond, mainly because it is so accessible to people to learn the skills needed to build this crazy powerful software people could only dream of a few years ago. A lot of side hustles and make money online grifts are borderline scamming. And what I love about this is that you're actually building a hugely valuable skill set and implementing technology that will truly make a difference for your clients. Building AI agents presents you with an opportunity to charge deep into one of the most exciting fields in the world over the coming years, and not only make money from anywhere, but also open up doors to much bigger opportunities along the way. Market dynamics. While I did say that the GPT store is only a small part of the picture, I still want to give you the information you need to give it a good crack. As I said, if I teach you how to create killer GPTs, that same skill set can be transferred over to selling agents to businesses, so it's a win-win. With the GPT store launching, I want to touch on the market dynamics that we'll likely see play out. And being aware of this will ensure your strategy is better than most, giving you a better chance of success. Whenever new platforms like the GPT store start, there's usually a few different phases. Initially, the market will be flooded with basic GPTs that take off and are good for a specific use case, but don't really have much to them. Maybe a couple PDFs and some decent prompting, and these documents are likely publicly available and anyone can find them and recreate that same GPT for themselves. But as these low barrier to entry GPT use cases flood the market, they'll quickly become commoditized and lose all value. If you make a GPT that 10,000 others can create in 20 minutes by downloading the same ebook as you, you're never going to get the usage numbers required to make any decent money on the platform, because there might be 100 different GPT creators who are giving the exact same thing, and therefore all of the usage for that kind of use case is going to be split between all of the people. But rather than you getting all of the usage, it's going to be split between all of the other copies of the same GPT, and you're not going to be making any decent money. Then the next phase will begin, where builders will need to get more creative and find other ways to create both unique and valuable GPTs that will attract and retain users over a long period. And creating this kind of value and long-term usage comes back to the 3 ingredients concept we discussed earlier. We have prompting, we have knowledge, and we have actions. To have any kind of long-term or consistent income from your GPTs, you'll need to be able to create unique value through one or more of these. There are a number of different ways that you can create unique GPTs. So you might want to get your book out and write these ones down. Firstly, you can use expert or unique prompting, which is fairly easy to replicate. If someone else can come up with the same or similar prompt, they can create the same kind of functionality you can. But that is one way you can create some kind of point of difference with your GPTs. Secondly, you can use private or hard to find data as custom knowledge. As you'll learn later in this video, you can either kind of buy or scrape data off the internet and make your own custom knowledge base that very few can replicate. Because if you can get knowledge or information that people can't, then people aren't going to be able to replicate what you've created with your GPT. Thirdly, you can curate an interesting or unique mix of data in your GPT. This is a pretty interesting one to me, but the idea of you being a bit of an artist or a chef and putting the right types of data together, whether it's publicly available or private or hard to find, just making an interesting mix that is hard to replicate and that provides a unique type of value that others can't provide. And finally, number 4 is, of course, creating unique or powerful actions and tools and functions that your GPT has that other people can't easily or can never replicate. For example, if your uncle runs a roofing company and has dozens of high-performing sales scripts that have been crafted over 2 decades to be really high-performing, you could take those and put those into a GPT as a custom knowledge base and call it a roofing sales script expert. By doing that, you'd have created something that is difficult to copy, and better yet, you can throw in a roofing cost calculator tool that you created on Relevance AI to increase its value even further. In the next chapter of this video, I'll be going into more depth on tooling and Relevance AI, so stay tuned for that. My point here is that it is much better to spend your time creating GPTs that have some kind of unique value to them that is hard to replicate. Otherwise, someone else is going to make the same thing, and you'll have to split your revenue, if any, with them. Be smart about where you spend your time, and don't get caught up on dumb projects that will never make you a dime. To make GPTs that are actually unique and useful, you need to master the 3 ingredients and become a GPT chef. However, there are 2 other skills you need to hit it big on the GPT store. Chapter 2, Skills. In this chapter of this free course, we are going to be covering the 5 key skills that you need to succeed as a GPT creator on the store and as an AI agent creator working as a freelancer or an agency selling to businesses. Skill number 1, market research and use case identification. It's pretty hard to make a GPT that thousands of people use every day and racks up some juicy revenue sharing income for if you don't know what people want. Therefore, market research and identifying a high value use case for your GPTs is the first skill that you need to develop. When doing research and coming up with your ideas, that always needs to be through the lens of the 3 ingredients. You need to be thinking, how can I combine prompting, knowledge, and custom actions together in a way that creates something both useful to a specific user and unique and hard to replicate. For example, as I've done earlier on this channel, you might make a gold investing assistant. For the prompting ingredient, you would tell the GPT that it's supposed to help with investing in gold using some of the knowledge-based documents provided and the actions that you've given to it. The knowledge ingredient of this GPT could be some PDFs on gold investing that you downloaded from the internet and jammed into the knowledge base. And finally, the actions ingredient could be a gold price checker tool that you use an API to fetch the current price of gold and you make that available. And the reason I'm using this example is because I've made it in an earlier video on my channel. I'll link that up here if you want to watch that. That's a very basic example and probably not the best one if you're looking to make money. Another example that my Twitter first heard about is a quotation assistant for framing businesses. So I had a conversation with my auntie who owns a framing business in Auckland, and she said that like the quotation process for us is an absolute nightmare. We have to go back and forth with them, asking for like the size and the shape and the style that they want. It's much easier if you were able to create a GPT or an assistant that can collect the information from the user, send it off to a calculator tool, give them the price back, send a payment link, etc. So for the prompting ingredient of this GPT, you'd say, you are a framing business assistant who helps customers to get a quote. For the knowledge component, we don't need to use anything here. And for the actions, we'd connect 2 tools. Firstly, a generate quote, which sends off to a quote calculator and returns the price. And then another tool that allows us to generate a unique payment link based off that quote price, send it to the user and capture the payment. So if you're looking to come up with a few ideas, there's a few different ways you can do it. Firstly, using your own experience. In my opinion, in my experience, this is always the best option because if you know something about a specific industry, say you've worked as a content creator before, or you've worked as an editor or something, you know more about that issue and the kind of problems that they face and the kind of solutions they would need than anyone does. So if possible, think back through your past experience or what you even do right now. Think, what kind of GPTs could I create to solve the problems that I'm familiar with? Secondly, you can hijack the experience of others. So as I just mentioned with my auntie, when I was having a conversation with her, she told me, hey, this particular part about our business sucks. And I was like, okay, that's an opportunity for creating some kind of AI assistant. So if you can, friends, family, anyone you can find who has specific information or understanding of some kind of area or niche or industry, they might be able to give you some insights on what kind of problems need to be solved and what can be solved with the GPT solution. And finally, you can do your own research on the internet. You can use sites like Reddit and YouTube to research about a specific niche or about a specific type of user and try to figure out what the problems are and how you can solve those with a GPT solution. One great platform for this that I have no affiliation with is called GummiSearch. It has AI features that basically allow you to pick and mix different subreddits and then get AI insights about the kind of problems and things people are complaining about. So I'll leave a link to GummiSearch down below. Again, no affiliation to it. I just think it's a great tool for any of you who are doing market research, and I recommend this to the guys in my accelerator and free community as well. Once you've got a bunch of ideas for communities that you can build, we then get to the next phase. Skill number 2, data sourcing, preparation, and curation. In many cases, but not all, as you saw with the framing system that I mentioned before that doesn't need knowledge, most of your GPTs and agents will likely need custom knowledge element to make them more useful and relevant for your users. This means that knowing how to find valuable data, prepare it for use in your agents for best performance, and potentially mix different data together and create a sharing is a set of skills that you need to have. I find it's helpful to split data into 3 different categories: public, hidden, and private. So you might want to write these down. Public data is anything that you can find for free on the internet. For example, searching up gold investing PDF and adding any results that I find to my agent or to my GPT is an example of using public data. Of course, since anyone with an internet connection can get to this data and replicate the GPT, you'll likely face a lot of competitors using the exact same data who will end up siphoning off your earnings on this. Hidden data is anything that requires a little bit of extra work to get your hands on. Examples of hidden data include expensive or sought after books you have to buy or find, data scraped from the web that you find in a unique way, or data collected yourself from things like surveys. While all of this data is still accessible, the hidden data like this requires some extra skill or resources or effort to create a valuable knowledge component for you. So a little bit of extra effort can go a long way to find this kind of data. And finally, private data is any proprietary data that is pretty much impossible for regular people to get access to. This will often be data collected by companies on their customers, sales, or trends, etc. Some of you may have this kind of data yourself, or you may know someone who does. You can offer to buy the data off them or to lease it off them and help them to monetize it by creating a GPT for them and share it with the world in that way. This idea that people can monetize their private data through these AI agents in kind of a secure way is a very interesting concept to me. Identifying these hidden and interesting data sets will likely be the best option long-term to create value for most of you. However, to scrape and clean and sort large amounts of data can be difficult if you don't know how to code. Python is great for this, and you can learn web scraping and data management in a couple of weeks if you're serious about things. It's been hugely valuable for me in my own career over the past 12 to 24 months, knowing at least the basics of Python and JavaScript. But it is a nice to have, not a need to have to be successful. Skill number 3, prompt engineering. The quality of your instructions to your GPT directly determines the quality of its outputs. Therefore, knowing how to write good instructions or prompts is absolutely critical to your success. The good news is that it's not actually that hard. There's a few key tricks that you need to learn that will put you in the top 1% of people prompting these models. Luckily for you, I've already done a beginner's guide and an advanced guide on prompt engineering here on this channel that will teach you everything you need to know. They'll both be linked below, so make a note of it and you can come back and watch those later. Skill number 4, tool creation. Knowing how to create tools or custom actions that enable your GPT/agent to do things outside of the chat interface is key to creating something that is actually useful and valuable. Actions are one of the 3 ingredients of a GPT, and as mentioned, are often referred to as functions, tools, custom actions, custom functions, etc. They all mean the same thing. If you're not too sharp on the development side of things, they may be a little bit hard to wrap your head around, but I'll try to break it down as simple as I can now. In the most basic form, tools are functions. Some functions expect an input, others don't. Some return an output, others don't. But when triggered, these functions do something. This could be to interact with APIs across the web, or it could be performing calculations and data manipulations on some of the inputs that it receives, and more. A simple example would be a capitalization function that expects some text as an input and returns the capitalized version of it. Inside that function, there would be logic to capitalize the letters before returning that as an output. When we create tools for our agents, we are creating a function that does a specific thing which our agent can use whenever the conditions are met. What makes GPTs and agents so ridiculously powerful is how they can handle inputs and outputs from functions. When the user triggers a tool, either by saying, capitalize this text, and then enter some text after, the agent is able to pluck out only the text that they want to capitalize and use that as an input into the capitalization function. Then, once they've run the function and has capitalized the answer, it can use that in writing a natural language response to the user and say, here is your capitalized version, and then input the capitalized version. So it's not just going to take the input and then dump the output back into the chat. It's actually going to answer the question and use the output as part of that answer in a way that's very, very user-friendly and natural. This may not seem crazy to you, but in the programming world, this super intelligent and conversational use of functions is a gigantic leap forward. In order to be able to do this a decade ago, it would have been completely massive. Now here are some more advanced examples of tools that you can create for your agents. Firstly, you can have a stock price fetcher. This tool would take in the stock picker that the person is looking for, usually what's the price of Apple right now. And then the function that the tool connected to would use an API like the Yahoo Finance API, and it would send off that ticket and would get the information back, and it would respond to the user with the price of the Apple stock at that point in time. Or you could create a solar saving calculator, which I've actually done in the previous video, which I'll link below. What this tool does is take in the user's address and their monthly power bill, and it sends it off to a custom function that I created that uses the Google Solar API to calculate how much they can potentially save in a 20-year time frame. Tools like this are great for lead generation chatbots. For example, you can put this one onto a solar company's website. They can get their power saving calculated. Then right after that, I prompted this assistant to ask for their lead information directly after they got their quotation, so they were able to capture that lead and then follow up with that. And finally, you could have a generate draft contract. This would take in things like the contract type, the value, the recipient address, and the name, and then use a pre-prompted tool on relevant AI, which we're going to learn more about in a second, in order to generate a draft contract in seconds using the company's regular format. The good news is that creating tools like these has never been easier for people who don't have code. Platforms like Relevant AI that I'm a huge fan of allows you to build complex tools without coding, and in a couple of clicks you can connect those tools to your GPTs and agents. In order for your agent to be able to use your tool, you need to create an API that wraps around it. This is essentially a special URL that your agent can call, which will firstly trigger the function that you've made. Secondly, accept any inputs collected from the user in the chat interface. And thirdly, send back any data needed to write a response to the user. Therefore, the easiest way to understand a tool is to see it as some custom function wrapped in an API that allows our GPTs or agents to interact with it over the web. Cool, right? I know, there are a few different ways you can create tools. Some are very beginner friendly and others are more advanced. Firstly, you can find free APIs and use them as tools. You have sites like Rapid API, which have a bunch of free or cheap APIs that are ready to use. This means that someone has already created that custom functionality or the function itself and wrapped it all in the API for you to use. So it's going to save you a lot of time. You can go on to Rapid API, pick a couple cool ones you like and make tools out of them, and then convert them to your GPTs. It's like a beginner-friendly way to start. Secondly, you can create your own using no-code and low-code tool builders. As mentioned, platforms like Relentless AI are my go-to for creating tools for agents when I'm not custom coding them myself. I love the platform because it's extremely beginner-friendly with tons of templates to get you started. But their tool builder also has a lot of depth, which allows you to create some very advanced tools as your skills improve. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm very big on this kind of depth concept when it comes to learning new platforms and tools. If you're going to bother learning a whole new platform, you want one that's not going to have a ceiling in terms of what you can develop. You want something that's going to allow you to make everything eventually as you get better and better and develop a more valuable skill set. I actually already have a tutorial on Relevance AI tooling for your GPTs, and I'll link that up here if you want to check that out. It'll also be linked in the description. But that video is a good intro to tooling with Relevance AI. I've actually been thinking of doing a complete guide to tool creation for beginners in a similar style to this. So if you want me to do that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, of course, so you don't miss it. But also head down to the comments and let me know if you want me to get that out sooner, because whatever you guys want, if there's enough demand, I'll do it. And of course, Zapier connects very well with GPTs. So if you want to connect your Zaps to your agents and opening up really thousands of tool options with all of the Zapier integrations, you can use Zapier as well. Finally, you can create your own custom functions and host them yourself. Of course, you can just write functions with traditional code and host those APIs yourself. I actually have a bunch of tutorials sharing my custom tools for GPTs like that solar calculator that I just mentioned. So if you want to check those out, I'll leave those linked down below as well. But if you're a beginner, I would start off with the Rapid API and pre-made API options and the low-code, no-code builders like Zapier and Relevance AI for your tools. There's one final component to creating tools, which is creating an open API schema. This is essentially instructions for your GPT or agent on how to correctly use your API. So because your API might take in certain inputs, it might be expecting certain inputs and provide different outputs, you need to give your agent a description of how to interact with that API, which is what the Open API, not OpenAI, Open API schema is. This is an absolutely crucial step and can seem a little bit tricky to beginners, but I've got some super simple techniques you can use to quickly create your schemas, which I'll be sharing with you once we get to the building phase of this video. And as mentioned in the next chapter of this course, I'll be walking you through creating your first tool and connecting it to your GPT. We're almost done, but there is just one more skill that you need to know before you can get started as a GPT store builder. Skill number 5, GPT marketing. The final piece to the GPT puzzle for anyone looking to make money on the GPT store will be marketing. You can make it the most amazing GPT on earth, but if no one knows about it, then you won't get any usage if you won't make any money. While the GPT store will undoubtedly have some kind of discover feature that will spotlight the top GPTs or OpenAI's picks, but relying on this kind of exposure is not a very reliable method for marketing your marketing. Like I said, people who have an audience that can use social media to get eyeballs to your GPTs will gain more users and therefore rank higher on the list and therefore gain more organic users from being on this list, etc. It's like an upward spiral of success. For example, the Grimoire GPT, which is a 100x coding assistant that I mentioned earlier in the video, was cleverly marketed across platforms like Reddit, tool sites like SuperTools, and heavily on Twitter. If you don't already have an audience, then this GPT store moment might be a great opportunity for you to start. Focus on just one platform like Twitter and specialize in creating handy GPTs, or just one really good GPT for a specific platform. This guy has really focused on making a GPT that's handy for people who want to write software but aren't technical. With an audience he built up on Twitter, he could now release new ones and new GPTs that solve different problems for that same audience and likely see similar success. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that on the GPT store, you will have a builder profile, which is where all of the GPTs you create will be attributed to. With these builder profiles in mind, niching down to one industry or one type of user could be very handy so that you can become the go-to guy or girl for any GPTs within that niche. So how can you market your GPTs? The main ones I'd consider would be Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and short form content, be it through Reels or Shorts or TikTok. Depending on your end user, you will need to choose a platform that matches best with who those users are. For example, if you created a networking tool, that would obviously be best marketed on LinkedIn with written content and video posts. However, if you had a GPT that helps students, maybe that would be best marketed through short-form content platforms where there's a lot of students and young people watching content. You get the idea. I highly recommend that you just focus on one platform at first, as too many beginners try to be good on all platforms and end up being bad at them all at once. Focusing on just one platform like Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube and getting really good at creating content that generates new users for your GPTs is the best way to go, in my opinion. I mean, in my experience, all I started with was YouTube, and things have gone pretty good for me. We're only really just scratching the surface here in terms of GPT marketing ideas, and I think we'll see some very interesting marketing methods over the next couple of months and years. You could create full landing pages for your GPTs to explain its value, like the data used, the actions included, and then even like run traffic there from Google or Facebook. Like so many different possibilities here. You could even create a funnel of GPTs for one niche where each of them has been prompted to kind of link to the other GPT when a certain topic is discussed. So kind of like interlinking the GPT so that they start using all of the ones that you offer for that niche. You get what I mean? You can prompt it and provide links. Anyway, getting a bit distracted. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but before we get into the creation module, I just want to ask you to head down below and leave a like on the video if you're enjoying. I put a ton of work into this video, as you can probably tell. There's a lot more to come. But if you also want to subscribe to the channel while you're down there, a lot of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel or watch my videos anyway. So if you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on more stuff and support me continuing to put this kind of free stuff out, you can please subscribe down below, like, leave a comment if you are as well. That's all from me. We can get back to the video. Now you've been brought up to speed on everything you need to know about making the most of the GPTs and AI agent opportunity. We can get into the final chapter of this course, which is creation. I'm going to be taking you step by step through creating your first GPT using all 3 ingredients, and then I'll even go one step further and show you how you can jailbreak it into an AI agent you can sell to businesses in multiple ways. No other YouTube is going to be showing you that last part. Before we can create our GPT though, we need a use case or a concept so that we can start to assemble the 3 ingredients for it. For this tutorial, we're going to be creating a stock investing assistant based on the wisdom of Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man at Berkshire Hathaway. All of the resources, including the prompts, the documents, and the tool template will be available on my free resource hub in the description below. So you can create a free account on my resource hub and get instant access and follow along. If you're looking for the resources for this video, it'll be on the left-hand panel and down near the bottom somewhere. Now for our planning, we need to look through the lens of the 3 ingredients, of course. So firstly, our prompting is going to instruct the GPT to be an investing assistant that helps users to invest according to the principles of Charlie Munger using the document provided. We are not going to be authorizing it to make investment decisions on behalf of the user, rather just provide some options so that the user can come to their own decision. This is a bit of a legal gray area, so it's important to not get yourself into any legal trouble by making financial decisions or recommendations when you're not technically a financial advisor. Secondly, our knowledge ingredient will consist of 4 documents that I've gathered. The first 2 are PDFs on Charlie's investing principles. The other 2 are transcripts from interviews I found with him on YouTube. And finally, our action or tooling ingredient will be a real-time stock data fetching tool that allows us to look up the price of stock in real time. This is the most basic implementation I could think of for a stock investing assistant, because I think it's an easy opener for you as a beginner. But if I was going to be making this GPT, I'd probably use some kind of historical stock data tool that could get the past maybe 3 to 6 months of stock data, which would allow the GPT to then kind of look over the stock data and analyze the past performance, compare it to other stocks' past performance, and then provide better recommendations based on this data. So I think if you're looking to use AI as kind of a data analysis and reasoning engine, that's probably how I'd attack this if I was going at it in my own time. But for now, for simplicity's sake, and to keep this easy for beginners, we're just going to be doing a stock price fetching tool within this GPT. So if you want to follow along, head down to the resource hub, sign up and grab those documents, then you can come back here and we can get started. Of course, to get started, we are on the ChatGPT site here. Now, in order to make GPTs, you do need ChatGPT Plus, which is open now at the time of filming. So make sure you sign up to a ChatGPT Plus account. I think it's $23 a month or something. And then we can go to the left-hand panel here. If I go to Explore GPTs, here is the new update of the GPT store. At the time of filming the earlier section of this video, this hadn't released, so here we can take a little look, I guess, while we're filming this. We have a featured section, a trending section by ChatGPT, etc. Doesn't seem to be anything crazy at the moment, but it would be great if you could get on this featured or trending section. All of you should take a look through here and see which ones are trending, how they're being built, and how they're being marketed as well. But to get started on building our GPT, we can click up to the right corner where it says Create. Then we get this screen here, so we can start to go through the process of creating it. When you are creating GPTs, there is a create and then there's a configure section. The create experience is a lot more conversational. You can basically go to a conversation here with your GPT builder, and it's going to help you to construct it and convert your natural language into the ingredients here that we can actually put in ourselves directly. So because we are smart GPT developers and GPT builders, we can jump straight to the configure page and start to build them quickly, but also build them very specifically, so we can tell it exactly how we want to do the prompting, etc. When you do it through the create tab, it's going to kind of make up the prompt along the way, but we can be very specific with it here. Here we can give it a name. We can say Charlie Hunger Investing Assistant. The name, of course, is what's going to be shown on the store. In some of the naming convention documentation that OpenAI has provided, they say it's not recommended to put GPT in the name. So in this case, I'm just going to Charlie Munger Investing Assistant. I can give it a description. This is not going to affect the functionality of the assistant at all. It's just going to be, as you can see on the right-hand side here, this is the sort of description line of the GPT. So I can say, get help with your investing decisions using the wisdom of Charlie Munger. And then we get to the instruction section, which is the prompting ingredient of our GPT. I already have one written here that's going to help us a lot. I'll go through this with you now. You are an investment advisor that uses Charlie Munger's wisdom to recommend investment strategies. You are wise and have a long-term outlook on investing. I'm going to add a little bit here for the legal side of things. You are not permitted decisions for user options. And you realize the document will provide us a little bit of instruction on how to use the knowledge ingredient that we're going to provide. I've noticed it's very helpful to make sure you're using it at the right time. So here I say, you have been provided with documents containing transcripts from Munger interviews, but also PDFs full of Munger wisdom. Use this information to answer your investing related questions. So that's telling it how to use the knowledge component, which is something I recommend you all use when you're writing a prompt for your GPTs, if you're using a knowledge component. And then this final line refers to the action or the tool that we're going to connect to it. You have one tool to help users get stock flow. This function fetches the real stock data from stock that can provided by the user, e.g. Apple, Microsoft, etc. That's telling it how to use the tool, which we're going to build in a second. Conversation is something cool you can add in to enhance the user experience of your GPT. I typically, if I'm using it, just a quick prototype, I'm not going to be writing them, but if you are going to be putting these on the store and making it as user-friendly as possible, these conversations start as an opportunity for you to really showcase the best of what your GPT can do in a little click button format. So whatever I put here, I think about the most value that this GPT could provide. It would be probably related to the tool use. Can you get a price of a stock for me? So that's related to the tool. I can say, what are your 5 top investing principles for business? Can you analyze this stock performance for me? Then with the needs based on some recent stock performance data, the prices over the past 3 months or something. And then we can add another one where it is, how can I evaluate a stock before and these are all pretty helpful conversation starters, I think, for someone who's looking to get a system for investing, getting a stock price, analyzing past performance, top 5 investment principles for beginners, evaluating a stock, etc. These kind of things are going to pull from the knowledge base. We'll use the tools or anything that we've provided as part of these ingredients to help them to do a certain thing related to investing. Then we get to the knowledge section, which OpenAI has made very easy for us. We can just upload the documents. I will mention here that some types of information like CSV and other files like this, if it's a spreadsheet or any kind of numerical data, the models are not that great at understanding that stuff right now. I assume that OpenAI is going to release something that allows them to understand or process these kind of numerical data set. At the moment, I recommend anything text-based, so PDFs, documents, transcripts, anything you can imagine that text-based, it's going to be able to use that kind of knowledge much more effectively than any kind of numerical data at this point. As I mentioned, all the documents are going to be available for free on my resource hub, so if you want to follow along, you can go down there and sign up and get access to these. You can download them, and you will get access to these 4 documents here. So I've got 2 PDFs, and I've got 2 documents. The PDFs are from the internet, and then the other 2 are transcripts. I'm going to upload those there. Then we're able to enable some of the capabilities that OpenAI offers out of the box from their side to make our GPTs more powerful. At the moment, this includes web browsing with Bing. Valley image generation, and then code interpret as well. So at the moment, I don't think we need image generation. Web browsing could be handy. Essentially, our stock data checker tool could be replaced with this web browsing one because it could search and find the price. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to leave the web browsing capability on so I can pull some more data into the conversation using web browsing and say, hey, can you find me 5 stocks that have been in the news lately? And pull those into the conversation. Then I can do sort of analysis and pull data in, etc. So we're going to leave web browsing on, and then we get down to the action section, which is where we can add in our custom actions, which is what we're going to do now. So if I click new action, in order to create our action, we need to find an API that we can use, and then we need to create a schema for it, which is what we're going to be doing now. And as I mentioned, one of the easiest ways for you to create your own tool and start creating custom actions is to find an existing API and then include that as one of your actions for your GPT. So for a stock data price fetching tool, I searched around for a free stock data API and I found this one here, which is called finhub.io. No affiliation, I'm just using it because it's free so you guys can get into it too. If you're following along, you can come to finhub.io. We can click on get free API key. Now I've already made a free account, but you can do the same and you should be able to see the screen here, which is when we get our free API key here, which we can start to use. In order to create our action or tool, we need to know which particular API or endpoint we're going to be calling. So this finhub.io has a lot of different stock data related endpoints we can use. This is something you need to get familiar with, is looking at documentation and learning how to use these APIs. And I promise it's not as scary as you think. So if I go down here, I think I saw one that I liked, which was stock price quote. So this is going to give us real-time quote data for US stocks. Constant polling is not recommended, blah, 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 blah. To get request, and this is how we can use it here. So essentially, all we need to pass in as an input from the user end is going to be the stock ticker, and it's going to give back the current price, the change, the percentage change, higher the day, lower the day, open the price of the day, and the previous close price. So we get this information back, and all we need to do to call
Architecture and interior design? Find a 3D designer today. FiveM, start now.
Ready to level up your small business marketing? Market smarter, not harder, with Constant Contact, your all-in-one digital marketing secret weapon. Instead of blasting your whole contact list, send the right message to the right customer with smarter audience segmentation. And of course, timing is everything. With Constant Contact's automated paths, your message will be delivered at the perfect moment automatically. Then, to really boost results, eliminate the guesswork. Track the performance of your email, text, and social campaigns all in one place with easy-to-understand, real-time analytics reporting. Upgrade your marketing game and sign up for your free Constant Contact trial today.
OpenAI has finally released their new model of ChatGPT called O1 Preview. Now, this model has also been referred to as Project Strawberry and is finally released. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 12 use cases, and I'm not going to be coding the game of Snake or taking you through any boring rubric. These are going to be hands-on use cases. We're going to be building web applications. We're going to be getting into detailed planning, next-level brainstorming techniques, problem-solving paradigms, and so much more. The power of this model feels like you're talking to a PhD-level human. It feels like you're speaking to an expert in the field. You can really use this model for more thoughtful tasks in many different sectors of the world. I mean, as you can see with the red and the yellow, compared to GPT-4o, this model is absolutely killing it. Even this one with the green is right, outperforming expert PhD-level humans in science questions. Now, this model really stands out in the following categories. It's not really flashy with new features or advanced voice features with multimodality, but what it does really good is cipher, coding, math, crossword here, English, science, health science. It's absolutely changing the game with its new accuracy and also its new chain of thought prompting method baked into the model. Now, if you want to leverage artificial intelligence to its maximum potential in order to increase productivity, save you hours of time, increase efficiency on any task, whether it's for work or for personal life, then I highly recommend joining the AI Foundation community. I will be leaving a link in the top pinned comment or the description below. Now, this is where you really develop an edge for artificial intelligence. The #1 community, and we have everything. We have up-to-date AI news, We have plenty of different courses for learning every sector of AI in order to make your life efficient. We have a calendar with all the different live calls we're doing per week. We're giving away rewards. It's a network of people leveraging artificial intelligence within their industry, and we all come together as one brand new company. This is truly the spot to get an edge and to get ahead with AI. Use case number 1 is to animate anything. You have the ability to create simulations or animations in order to better help you see something. If you're a very visual learner, or if you like seeing how things move, then this one is going to be for you. So I have this prompt here, and this would be very difficult to send off to GPT-4o and actually get a good response on the first prompt. But what I can do is I can change my model up here in the upper left-hand corner to O1 Preview, the most advanced model. And I can send off this prompt, and basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to create an animation or a simulation of a heartbeat, and I want a custom slider that I can actually control the BPM of that heartbeat. And I just want to show you what it's capable of in only a single prompt. Look at all these instructions I'm providing. Don't necessarily look at the example and take it for face value. Think about how you can apply this and use this model, and using prompts to require advanced reasoning. So look at all this stuff I'm giving it. If they bring me a visualization using React, CSS, JavaScript, and HTML, that would show a heart beating, simulating actual movements with an existing BPM meter that changes the heartbeat speed based on how your heart would actually beat. And then I get some bullets. Make the heartbeat big and dramatic so the user can easily see what's going on. Make the BPM adjuster a slider bar. Ensure you make this into one HTML.index file. That way when I upload it to VS Code, it's super easy. And also, make sure you are simulating real heartbeat movements based on the BPM. Let's send this off using O1 Preview, and you're going to be able to get a feel for how ChatGPT is actually thinking through this process and mapping it out compared to the original models. Now, of course, we're going to sacrifice some speed, but what we're going to get is a much more accurate response. So, if you look right here, that has all of the different things it's doing in order to create this animation. It's setting up a plan, it's creating a structure, setting up React, setting up the component. It's doing all sorts of different things before it even gives me my response. It's kind of creating this plan, it's looking for constraints, and then it's giving me everything that I need. Okay, so take a look at this. Right now it's animating the beats, and it's just like that, it thought for 42 seconds, okay? That's a long time, but the response is so accurate. Let's take a look at this. It's giving me the HTML index file as I asked. It's giving me an explanation, an instruction to run. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a folder, and I'm going to call it Art. Do you
Cold English master. I must admit, I do, often. That yellow fiery kid. So old, so such hot stuff. Oh, I just want to be smothered. Elegant. Man of sausage. Coleman's Englishman. Hot and English since 1840. Try it today. And maybe.
I'm going to open up VS Code and then open that folder I just created. I'm going to go to my desktop, open up the art folder, and then I'm going to create a new file and call it index.html. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm just going to paste in that code and then save this code. Now when I go back to that folder I just created, because I don't have it here, but you're going to notice I have to do an item and just open it up in Chrome to see this animation in action. I'm going to open that up. And as you can see, what we have here is an actual heartbeat simulation. And it's actually taking into account the amount of times the heart is beating. So if I have this adjusted down to 48 BPM, the heart is going to beat slower. And remember, I created this all with a single prompt. You can crank it up, and as you can see, this is like you're running, and this is actually a pretty good pace, the 180. This is when you're super tired, but it's very dynamic, very functional, interactive, and we did this with a single prompt. Use case number 2 is detailed planning. Any large language model when using the new O1 model. Information to take in. So that's what we're going to do. So I have this very large prompt that I'm about to send out to one. What this prompt consists of is a goal. So I want to create a business model funnel for an artificial intelligence education company. I give it some metrics. So I give it where I have where I get most of my traffic, LinkedIn, TikTok that I don't currently post on, that I want to start posting on, and a newsletter in here. So I just gave it some arbitrary information, just so I wasn't giving away anything sensitive, but then I give it an action. I say, help me develop my business, optimize the flow of traffic in a way that can help me 5x my school page visits. The AI Foundation's about page. So this is the prompt I'm going to be using, okay? I just wanted to explain it so you knew what was happening when I was sending off this large prompt. I'm going to send it off now while in 01, and what you're going to notice is longer than usual. It's figuring out the approach, doing a marketing, discussing each platform's impact that I listed. What you're going to notice is these prompts are so much longer than any other website. Gives me a company overview with my name, gives me a mission, a clear goal, gives me services I can provide, a target audience, market analysis. I encourage you to pause the video and it's absolutely insane. It gives me a complete marketing plan, call to action, content expansion, platform goes in depth. Then it gives me something for my newsletter. Then it gives me a marketing funnel optimization, okay? So just take a look at everything that's literally applying into this one response after thinking for only 23 seconds. And it is a longer output time, but the response is so much more efficient. So I recommend getting your detailed planning done with this new 01 model. Use case number 3 is use 01 for advanced explanations. They can go super in-depth when you're doing an explanation, because not only will the model look at its previous response and explain to you how it got there, but it will think about how it's going to look at that previous response. So there's another layer added in, and it just helps it give you a better understanding in order to provide sustainable deep learning about why something works. Not just getting the answer, but understanding why. So if we go back and we just piggyback off that last one that we just created, this huge business plan, what we can do is we can either drop this down and take a look at how it got there, but maybe we want to explain how it got there and why it did the things it did in order to give me this long, detailed business plan and marketing funnel for a company. So I can scroll down, and with a simple prompt, I highly recommend you give this prompt a try. You can get very detailed and in-depth explanation for why ChatGPT is different. So I say, explain to me how you came to the conclusion to use this method and the route I could go next time in order to figure this out. That's important because you want it to explain it to you so that you can do it on your own. Then I say, give me a sustainable understanding of why this is. And then I can just send that off. And if I stay in my same chat thread, then it's going to use that information from above as well. And as you can see, it's really thinking about this. It's not just spitting out hallucinations. It's evaluating strengths and weaknesses, charting the course, the org diagnosis. As you can see, it thought for 30 seconds. It thought about the methodology of the plan it created longer than it thought about the plan it created. Think about how powerful that is. So it gave it the title of Explanation of Methodology and How to Develop Your Own Business Plan and Marketing Funnel. It goes into an introduction. And it gives in-depth instructions for how it did it. It said conduct a situation analysis. And it said it used the SWOT analysis and how I can do it, why it works, defining clear goals, develop a marketing funnel. I mean, just look at all this information that went into developing that plan for me. It's really thinking it through, not only on the planning side of things, but also on the explaining side of things. So I highly recommend that you use this new 01 model for having ChatGPT explain its reasoning on how it came to its conclusion or how it got its answer. This is going to help mitigate hallucinations as well. Use case number 4 is to create informational dashboards with the power of 01's code. So what do I mean by an informational dashboard? Well, this is going to be a way that you can actually use ChatGPT in order to create code for you to set up an informational dashboard based on a large amount of text. This is going to help you understand things better, help you see things in a more visual way, and also help you have a lot more fun when learning and researching and aggregating information. So as you can see highlighted in yellow here, I just give it my goal. I say create an informational and interactive dashboard using HTML, JavaScript, and CSS based on the information provided. That's going to be important because beneath the yellow, beneath my goal, I'm providing 10 pages of a PDF going over a prompting method called Tree of Thoughts. And as you can see, there is loads and loads of text. Because we don't have the ability to upload PDFs right now to 01, I'm just going to copy and paste in the text I want in this dashboard. Then I give it some things to include, like informational tabs, a quiz tab with 5 test questions that dynamically change after hitting reset. Then I say, here's the information to put in the dashboard. And then I list that 10-page PDF, copy and pasted. So I'm just going to copy this entire document by hitting Control-A and Control-C. I'm going to head over, make sure I'm on 01 preview, paste it in, and send it off. Now it's going to be taking in all of this information in order to create the code and store this information in a dashboard for me. Now it thought about this one actually very quick. That's pretty impressive that it organized all the information and crafted that HTML dashboard with content guidelines, drafting the dashboard, and crafting the HTML file. Very, very cool. So what I can do is I can do the same thing I did for my heart animation. I can copy this code. I can open a folder I just created in VS Code called informational dashboard, and then I can just paste in that once I type in index.html. I'll just paste in that code that it gave me. It gave me 244 lines of code, absolutely insane. I'm going to hit Control S, then I'm going to go open that file. And take a look at this. It generated me this entire website almost, going over some of the information. I have an overview tab, a methodology tab, an experiments tab, a graphs tab, and a quiz tab. Now, I can even go further into this and keep prompting. So what I told it was the graphs and quiz did not show. Also add more information into each tab that helps me learn better. Because right now the structure is amazing, how quickly it created this almost website-like informational dashboard, but we need a little bit more information in here, and also we need to get these graphs generating and the quiz as well. So it said the issue with the graphs was because of the placement of the head section in the charts.js. So let me copy this updated code, and then I'm just going to repaste it in there. And this time, instead of 245 lines, it generated 320. So this should be pretty awesome. I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to go back to my website and see how it looks. So if I refresh this, as you can see in the overview, many more key concepts and also just more information. A lot more information in methodology, definitely more information in experiments. The graphs are now working, so now that we know why that didn't work, we can implement that in our next prompt if doing this again. If we go to the quiz, we now have a 5-question quiz based on the information in our dashboard here. So I could answer them. I don't know these answers right now, but I'll hit submit. And then it tells me which ones I got correct, which ones I got wrong. An amazing way to study, an amazing way to research and learn information in an aggregated dashboard. Use case number 5 is to utilize problem-solving paradigms in this new O1 model because it can go through so many different things at once. It can check constraints. It can ensure that the answer is non-hallucinogenic. And it also just provides you better analysis. So that's what we're going to be doing, is using a problem-solving paradigm in order to get some things solved. So what do I mean by a problem-solving paradigm? Well, let's just take a quick look at this prompt I have and how I'm using a specific problem-solving paradigm called the Pareto analysis. So I say I have some data on customer complaints from the past quarter categorized by the type of issue. I want to perform a Pareto analysis. This is my problem-solving method of choice right now. Okay, we have the Pareto analysis, and we want to identify which complaint categories are responsible for a majority of the customer dissatisfaction. For those of you who don't know what the Pareto analysis is, it states that 80% of a project's benefits or results are usually only achieved from 20% of the work. Conversely, 80% of the problems can be traced back to 20% of the causes. So you can use this problem-solving paradigm in a large language model in order to get unique insights into your data or anything that you want analyzed with this analysis. So I give all of the issues where I'm getting all the complaints. We have login issues, slow performance, billing errors, feature requests, bug reports, and user interface confusion. And I just give O1 some simple instructions. I say, organize this data by frequency of complaints, calculate the cumulative percentage, identify the top categories that account for 80% of total complaints. This would be the Pareto analysis. That way I can target those categories and eliminate complaints. And then I just tell it to provide insights. So enough of explaining the prompt. Let's get in there and let's solve this problem, right? I have all this data, and we can use Pareto analysis in order to gain unique insights. So I'm going to message O1 preview, paste that in, and send it off. Now, if you like this and you like the way that the Pareto analysis is working, I have 19 other problem-solving paradigms in the community that used to cost $50, but I'm giving away for free in the community. So if you like this one, I highly recommend you go check those out. And what it's going to do is go super in-depth. It's going to create me tables without even being asked. It's going to give me the top categories accounting for 80%, which is slow performance, bug reports, user interface, and login issues. So these are the things that I would want to tackle first because they make up the most cumulative percentage for complaints. And then it gives me some insights and recommendation on how to tackle each one of these tasks, or each one of these problems rather, that are making up the most complaints. Use case number 6 is to solve complex puzzles. So what I have is this puzzle right here. As you can see, it's a bunch of letters connecting, and the puzzle that you need to figure out is a 2-word location. So I want ChatGPT to spell out a 2-word place name by traveling to each letter along each one of these lines, but you can only go through each circle once in order to accomplish this. So keep this diagram in mind because since we can't upload images, I had to craft this in a unique way in order to mimic this diagram here. So all of these letters and lines is me mimicking the diagram and the way things flow within this chart here. And I say, spell out a 2-word place name by traveling to each letter along the lines. You can only go through each circle once. Okay, so each one of these letters would be circled. In O1 preview, when I send it off, what you're going to notice is it's going to take a minute to think about this and really map out a solution. Okay, I've been waiting here for quite a while, and it's thinking of how to actually do this. It's really thinking about this process. And after thinking for 62 seconds and all of the possible solutions, it finally found the route to go. It said we can spell out one fitting solution, which is Easter Island, which uses all the letters provided. And then it gives me instructions for how to spell it out using the diagram. Very good, and I recommend you give this a shot. Use case number 7 is to create detailed white papers using O1. You have the ability to create research papers like never before with this new model. So I'm just going to type off a very simple prompt just to show you the prompt length, the detail, the structure, and how it's actually forming up a white paper based on a topic. So I say create me a huge detailed white paper on the side effects of screen time on your eyes, health, and sleep. I'm just going to send this off just to show you the power of how a small prompt can have very awesome results. Look at this. It only thought for 9 seconds, but I love that it provided me the exact date for today. It provided me a huge H1 heading, an executive summary, even providing a table of contents, okay? It's really going through this process. It's giving me reports and citing things by Statistica and really going in depth in the purpose of going over all the things that I wanted to cover, and just look how long this prompt is. Look at all the references it provides. This is all in a matter of about 30 seconds. For O1 prompt, not only did it do it very accurately, but it actually did it kind of quick. So I recommend if you need to research things, if you need to create long, detailed reports or white papers, that you try out this O1 preview model and compare it to GPT-4o. You will be stunned by the results and the accuracy. The next use case is solving complex math problems. So what I have here is very general SAT questions, okay? And we have question 1 right here, which is basically going through this temperature increase, and it wants to know which of the following must be true. And then there's 3 statements here based on this equation, and we have a multiple choice question. And the answer is actually D. Okay, the final answer is D, which is 1 and 2 only. So we're going to throw this into O1, one of the hardest SAT questions asked. I'm just going to copy this question from question 1, head over to ChatGPT, start a new chat, and paste it in, and see if it can solve this problem. I'm going to send it off. In the meantime, I'm going to head over to ChatGPT-4o, and I'm going to paste in the same question and send it off. And let's see how ChatGPT-4o does compared to O1 preview. As you can see, ChatGPT-4o actually got the wrong answer. It says conclusion. The correct answer is B, 2 only. But if we go back to the answer over on the hardest SAT math questions, it says the answer is actually D, 1 and 2 only, not just 2 only. So let's head over to O1 preview and see if it solved this. As you can see, O1 preview thought for only 6 seconds, okay? So actually not too long of a time, but it got a much more accurate answer. It answered D, which is the correct statement. So as you can see, math has just improved dramatically, and it didn't even take that much longer, okay? But GPT-4o could not solve this. Use case number 9 is next level brainstorming. Brainstorming is completely changed forever. You have the ability to run through loops, run through probability of success variations, and you can do so much more with brainstorming. It opens up the possibilities for business, personal life, strategizing, creative writing, really whatever it may be. We need brainstorming in all aspects of life, and this new model opens the doors for a new era of brainstorming. Now, I have an absolutely massive prompt, okay? I have 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5, 6, and 7 total steps. And not only that, but what I have at the very bottom here is a loop that I want this to complete. So I want it to repeat steps 5 through 7 3 times before giving me an answer. And it can do this with one single send off of a prompt. We don't have to prompt more than once. It can run through this as many times as we want. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to brainstorm solutions to a problem I have. And it's going to run through one of my brainstorming problem solving paradigms that I've used in the past. But usually this was a manual process that required many different prompts and a lot of manual input. So what I do is I give it my problem and I give it a role. You are a professional social media posting agent. And then I want it to brainstorm viral post launches for my AI Foundations community. And I say this is going to be a Facebook advertisement. And then I give it some more information down here on what that advertisement is going to be about and some more details about my company. And then I say brainstorm solutions. Now that you understand the problem, I need you to brainstorm 3 solutions. Okay, then I want it to give me a probability evaluation. So for each solution listed that it gave me in step 2, I want it to give me a success probability between 1 and 100% for each of those solutions. Step 4, we're going to exclude the losers and isolate the winner. So which one had the highest probability of success? And then this is where the loop begins. I tell it, then you need to start a brainstorming loop and run through this 3 different times. And the loop is basically taking the winning solution right here and brainstorming competitive solutions to go after my winner, after the winner that's already been generated from this step. I want to generate competitive solutions that go up against the one winner from the previous step. And then I want to do another probability evaluation and then another exclusion and isolation of the new winner based on the probability of success. And I want it to run through steps 5 through 7 3 times. So I'm really putting ChatGPT to the test in order to provide me with a winning advertisement strategy for my Facebook ad. So what I can do is I can send off this huge prompt and we'll let O1 do the work. It's going to get thinking, crafting engaging content, and it's going to run through my entire brainstorming solution here. So this is really next level brainstorming because we're running through multiple success cycles and variations of success in order to try to find a winning viral advertisement for AI Foundations, my AI community. As you can see, it thought for 55 seconds and then it ran me through literally every step it took and ran me through this entire brainstorming paradigm. Solution 1, 2, 3, probability evaluation. It gives me a probability of success for each of those solutions. It excluded the losers and isolated the winner. And then it brainstormed competitive solutions 3 different times with this brainstorming loop. Give me solution B, solution C, probability evaluation, solution A1 again. And then it gives me even more loops, excludes losers again. Look how many things it went through in order to get me to my final result. And it was doing this all automatically. And after it figured out everything, it gave me the final advertisement based on the strategy that it selected. Free AI resource lead magnet. It just gives me everything I need, and it went through the brainstorming process like crazy. Use case number 10 is to create in-depth curriculums with O1 Preview. Whether you're a course creator, a teacher, a consultant, maybe you're consulting yourself, whatever it is, you have the ability to create in-depth curriculums based on a certain amount of text. So what I have here is a simple prompt, a simple action command with a lot of information following behind it. So I say, I want to create a 12 module video course on chain of thought prompting in order to help people understand chain of thought prompting. And all I want right now is the outline. You can go in depth on each module as you get the outline, but I recommend generating outlines for curriculums first. So I say, help me outline the course curriculum with a 3-question quiz after each module based on the contents within that specific module. And then I say, here's the white paper I want to create these modules based around. And then I copy and paste it in a 10-page PDF with citations and sources, of course. And that's basically it, right? Since we can't upload PDFs, I'm pasting in that content right now. But ChatGPT, when using the O1 Preview model, is going to be able to craft a curriculum for you based on a 10-page PDF. That's pretty awesome, right? So I'm going to paste that in here and send it off. And O1 will think about it using chain of thought prompting. You can see it thought for 29 seconds. Gave me a course title, and now it's going in depth on modules. Introduction to chain of thought prompting. Gives me a description of what I need to discuss in each module, along with quiz questions I can ask, which the quiz questions will help me shape my modules when follow-up prompting with O1, asking it to go more in depth on each one. But what it's doing is it's providing me with all these different modules that I can make for my course based on the contents that I uploaded, and it's going much more in-depth than GPT-4o would have gone. Because it's thinking about, okay, how can we shape this curriculum in order to give people a sustainable understanding? Let's open up the back end. It says, reading and organizing. So it read all the information, identified the key concepts, and then structured a 12-course module. It understood the context, advanced reasoning, synthesized themes, NLP advancements, and it keeps on going on about the things that it saw and how to structure the course where people can gain a better understanding. GPT-4o or any other large language model is not going this deep. Use case number 11 is to create web applications. This can be useful things for work, or it can be fun things like blackjack games. That's what we're going to be creating because I am a fan of blackjack, okay? So let's create a blackjack web application. I'm going to start a new chat, and as you can see, this prompt is pretty large with a lot of different commands. So again, I'm going to explain my prompt so you can understand what's going on. I'm not just going to send it off. We have a goal up top for create me a web application for what game I want, blackjack, that uses 2 decks in the shoe. I want these things included in the application, okay? The ability to play blackjack with actual functionality in 2 decks. The ability to either hit, stand, double down, split, etc. An indicator showing which hand I am betting on at all times, a betting system where the user starts with $1,000 and chooses the amount they want. Once they hit bet, that's when the card should be dealt in the proper blackjack format. And then I also want, above each of the buttons for hit, stand, etc., a probability of the user winning for each option if it were selected. So being able to check probabilities based on certain cards that the dealer has. And then I say I want an actual discard system and a card randomizer that works after the user hits shuffle. I say I want to run this on a local HTML file for my desktop. Beautiful. I'm going to head over to ChatGPT, make sure I'm in O1, and I'm going to send off this large prompt for creating a web application for blackjack. I can send it off. And what I can do now is just paste this all into VS Code and just follow these instructions. So I'm going to copy my HTML, paste it in my HTML file in VS Code, scroll down, copy my CSS styling, paste it in my style.css file. That was a very nice rhyme. And I just had to mention to give me the complete JavaScript because I think me telling it to make this a step-by-step plan for me in VS Code, that's what it was focusing on more, and it wasn't really going as in-depth in the code as I had liked it. So what I did was just a follow-up prompt for give me the complete JavaScript in order to make this functional along with the probability scores for each of the button options. And as you can see, now this is looking like some amazing JavaScript code that's going to work. Look at all of these lines that are going into making this game come to life.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Ooh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even call your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards any leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone, the nation's network.
Credit of up to £100 to cover leading fees. Visit vodafone.co.uk/broadband to find out about the switch process and for terms.
I'm actually very excited to see how many lines this is. I'm going to copy this script.js code and head back to my script.js file, paste it in, and wow, 465 lines of code with 0 errors right now. You know, I can't wait to try this out. I'm going to hit Control S, and then I'm going to go open that file on my desktop in my blackjack game. I'm going to open up the index, and now we have blackjack. I'm going to enter my bet. Maybe I want to bet 300. And then it gives me the dealer's hand. It gives me current bet, balance, hidden card, and 8 of hearts. It gives me my hand, 10 of spades, 2 of diamonds. And it gives me the probabilities of winning. So probability of winning on hit, 71%. Probability of winning if stand, 54%. Actually really good odds. So here I would definitely want to hit. I'm going to hit. Hand 1 busted, dealer wins. And it's giving me these dynamic messages. I can't believe that. So I had a 71% chance of winning and I lost. So as you can see, this is awesome, right? I just created a blackjack game and I could make the styling better if I wanted. So I want to have a little fun now. I said, go crazy on the CSS to make this feel like a luxury online gambling room. And it's actually designing aesthetics for me, and it's going to use CSS in order to better the styling of this, because right now we just have this boring styling and basically just straight HTML. And so what I did is I took that styling that it gave me, this new styling over here in O1 preview, and I implemented it to the CSS. I hit save. So now when I refresh, as you can see, we have a much more attractive web application here. Type in 400 bet, and this is just much prettier than what I had before. And I could even add in the cards here and upload those files very quickly. Use case number 12 is to simulate realistic physics with this new O1 model. It's amazing. It's actually demonstrating physics live and the way certain things react to each other. So what we're going to be doing is demonstrating Newton's first laws via a simulation. Not his first laws, but all of his laws. Basically, what I have here is a couple of instructions. I say, help me code a simulation that displays Newton's laws and the physics of them with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then I say, I want to be able to switch between these laws with the arrow keys on my keyboard. And then I say, within each simulation, provide a functionality that allows the user to hit a button that disturbs or proves the law. I give an example of that, and then I say, make these animations repeating until the user interacts with a button. And have the interaction be dynamic based on where the ball is at. I say list the laws, complete the simulations, and give me the file. Let's send this off and see how it actually does at demonstrating real life, real world physics using Newton's laws. And in the meantime, I'm going to go set up my new VS Code structure by hitting the window, making a path on my desktop. I'll just call that folder Newton, hit enter. I'm going to open that folder that I just created, select folder. I'm going to head back over to ChatGPT, and it's still actually structuring this setup. So it's going very in depth, and hopefully we can get an awesome response. While it's generating that HTML, I'm just going to name my file index.html, and then I'll paste the code in here. And look at this, it's going so in depth on helping me simulate real life physics and demonstrate Newton's laws. I'm going to copy code, head back to VS Code, paste it in, hit save, head back to the desktop, and let's run this thing by selecting that. So it says Newton's first law simulation, law of inertia. And what I can do is I can actually use the arrows in order to go between certain laws. Now, it does look a little laggy whenever I go back in between this, or it goes super fast. So let's actually add a force, okay? I refresh the page, let's add a force. Boom. So an object in motion stays in motion until acted upon by another force. We can see that demonstrated right here, real life physics, right? I can go to the next one, and then I can increase force, and it has certain things up here, like mass, force, acceleration, and so on. So if I keep increasing the force, what's going to happen is this box is going to move much faster. So I can just keep on increasing the force. I'm just going to spam click this until it gets up to 100, and look how fast it's going now. The mass stays the same, but the force actually changes, which causes it to go faster when accelerating. I can go to the next law by hitting the arrow key and hitting trigger action. And now this is going to be action and reaction. So it looks like the thrust can be turned on. If I go back to that one, as you can see, thrust equals 0 newtons right now. But when I trigger action, as you can see, when we went to up to 5 newtons, that thing just took off. Those have been 12 use cases with the new OpenAI ChatGPT O1 model. Project Strawberry is absolutely insane. If you enjoyed these use cases and you want to see more, please comment below, drop a like on this video, and subscribe to the channel in order to stay updated. And again, if you really want to gain an edge when using artificial intelligence, the AI Foundations community is the spot to be. People are starting new businesses out of this community. Actually, over 6 new businesses have been started since this community's released 3 months ago. People are increasing efficiency, making lifelong friends. We even had an in-person meetup in Phoenix 2 days ago, where we actually met up live with the group members, chatted about AI, made friends. This is a network that's transcending just artificial intelligence. It's a great group of people. I highly recommend you join for yourself to see what it's all about. Alright, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like, and comment below, letting me know your thoughts. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, you're deep in the jungle, hanging with a friendly jaguar. Or how about in outer space, playing the bass? Let your imagination run wild with the new generative AI tools in Adobe Photoshop. Create anything you can dream up just by typing a text prompt. Treehouse in your jungle? Unicorn in your spaceship? Just type it. This changes everything. Hit the banner or go to Photoshop.com and try it for free.
ChatGPT released their new 01 model about a week ago, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 prompts that make it unstoppable. Now, this model is unlike any other model, so these prompts that I'm going to show you and send off to 01 in this video will not be the same as something like GPT-4o or even Claude. They go much more in-depth. There's much more deeper connections, tailored responses and solutions to your problems that you bring to ChatGPT. So in this video, I just want to show you 5 of the many prompts that I have in order to make this new model respond much better. Now, before we get into this, like always, the AI Foundations community is the spot to be if you want to master efficiency and productivity with artificial intelligence. I'll leave a link to join in the description or the top pinned comment. We have this awesome community here where we can share a bunch of different posts with each other. We have a network of 337 members who are all trying to leverage AI in their industry, sharing insights, feedback, and so much more. The network is the most powerful part here. But we also have a classroom with plenty of different courses on mastering AI, and a calendar where we are starting to do 4 live calls per week. So again, if that interests you, it should be in the description or the top pinned comment below. Now, what makes this model different? Well, the responses are much better and much more thought out. Some of these prompts you might be seeing in this video, you might ask yourself, why can't I just type that out in GPT-4 or Claude or Perplexity and get the same answer? Well, that's because you will not get the same answer. Because what they've done is they've trained it with something called reinforcement learning to perform complex reasoning. And not only that, but the part that really makes this model stand out is it thinks before it answers. Now, the technical thing it's doing in the background is long internal chain of thought prompting before actually responding. It's mapping out its response. It's checking its constraints, ensuring that the solution is tailored and adaptable to your problem. Now, we could go a lot more in-depth on that, but that's a topic for another video. Let's get into the fun part where we're learning all of these prompts, making 01 unstoppable that I've been using, members of the community have been using, and I found these are very awesome. We're going to have some use cases and some more practical prompts that can be applied to any output that it gives you as well. Prompt number 1 is the brainstorming paradigm that I've developed. Now, if you need to brainstorm anything, I would recommend using 01 because it's not going to be giving you any more canned responses. You can type out really long paradigms with deep, detailed information and get very tailored responses. So let's take a look at this brainstorming prompt that I've developed. I'll be leaving all of these prompts in the description for you to use if you're interested, but this is a brainstorming prompt that has 7 steps. Essentially, it's a paradigm, and not only does it have 7 steps, but I have a loop that it runs through at the end. So before the model responds, it's going to run through 3 steps 3 different times. Let's take a look at what this brainstorming prompt entails. This is a huge prompt, right? And 01 does an amazing job at actually going through all of the steps. GPT-4 does not even come close to doing this right. So step number 1, you have to list your problem. You're also giving it a system function or a role. Now, this is just basic prompt engineering skills taught in our large language model mastery class. And also, we have tons of YouTube videos going over defining the roles, even on this channel. So I recommend learning what role prompting is if you haven't already. But basically, you give it a role to fill so it can act and think like that professional. Next, you need to list the problem you have, or the solution you want an answer to, or the topic that you want brainstormed right here. And those are really your only inputs. And you're listing your problem here. And step number 2 that we're giving the large language model is to brainstorm solutions. We want 3 solutions. You can pause the screen and read this more in depth. But I say when providing these solutions, think about why you selected each one and list 3 components or factors that went into choosing that solution. Step number 3, we have a probability evaluation. So it's not only going to just give me solutions, but I want it to think about the solutions it gave me and give it a probability of success score from 1% to 100%. That way it can kind of gauge itself on how well it thinks that solution would work based on the problem that I want to solve. And this is just an awesome step of the process because right away we're telling you, go back, look at those. Give us a probability of success percentage and give me reasons for it too. I'm saying list the pros and cons, difficulty to perform, challenges, outcome expectations, and so much more. Step number 4 is kind of fun because after it takes into account the probability evaluation, I want it to look at those percentage scores it gave us. And I want it to exclude the bottom 2 percentage scores and isolate the winner. So I only want the best solution. Step number 5 is where this loop begins. So what I want you to do before you even send off this prompt is just copy the problem that you input up here and then paste it right here so we can reiterate the problem. I say take a look at the winning solution you found from steps 1 through 4. I need you to brainstorm 2 more winning ideas that could potentially have better results than our first winning solution. I say when providing these new solutions, provide 3 components that go into making each solution effective. And right now I'm just having it brainstorm the competitive solutions. And then it's kind of like we're repeating these steps. So I'm saying next for step 6, give me another probability evaluation for the 2 new ones, the 2 new solutions that we just got from step 5. And then step 7, we're going to exclude the losers and isolate the winner. There might be a new winner, there might be the same winner. Regardless, we're having it go back and try to generate 2 more winning solutions. And not only that, okay, we could end it here and have an amazing result. But what we're going to do is tell it to repeat this loop, steps 5 through 7, 3 more times. So it's going to keep trying to find 2 winning solutions, reevaluate the probability of success, exclude the losers, and isolate the winner. 3 different times, okay? So we're reiterating this thing so many different times, and it's doing all of this in the background, and it's following my paradigm that I've developed. Let's say I'm in e-commerce, or I'm trying to develop a unique product that I can at least get some blueprints out for and just have a mock-up idea. Let's say I have an idea of the product that I want, but I want help brainstorming solutions for my product or different ideas for my product. I can give it a role. So I can say you are a professional product developer. That would be an example of role prompting. And highlighted in yellow here is my problem. I say, I need you to develop a unique product that uses the power of augmented reality and large language models with multimodality. So now what do? Well, just copy the prompt, let it go to work, and have some fun. So I'm going to copy this entire thing, and then I'm going to paste it into ChatGPT using that new model. I'm going to hit Control-C. I'm going to make sure that I'm on ChatGPT 01 preview. I'm going to paste in my prompt, and then all I have to do is send it off. What you're going to notice is the response is going to take a little bit longer than usual. And that's because it's actually charting everything. It's thinking of solutions. It's evaluating its options. It's actually thinking before it speaks with this internal chain of thought prompting technique that it uses with reinforcement learning. Take a look at everything it's doing before it's actually giving me an answer. These are all the steps it's taking in the background before it even gives me an answer with this large prompt. I mean, just take a look at this. This is awesome, okay? It hasn't even given me a response yet. It thought for 36 seconds, but that wait time's okay because we're going to get an accurate, well thought out response. So it says, understanding the problem. As a professional product developer, I am tasked with creating a unique product that leverages AR with LLMs with multimodality, and it kind of reiterates what problem it's dealing with. It brainstorms the first solutions, just as mentioned in step 2, gives probability evaluation, and then it excludes the losers and isolates the winner. That was just steps 1 through 4, but now we have this 3-step, 3x loop that it has to go through. So it says beginning brainstorming loop, iteration 1 of 3, and then it gives a probability evaluation. So you can see solution 1 is a 75%, solution 2 is a 65%, solution 3 is a 70%. Now, I encourage you to pause the screen and read some of this as I'm going up. I don't have time to read this entire output in the video, but what you're going to notice is it's well thought out and much more different than any large language model that's currently on the market. So brainstorming is an awesome use case with this new 01 model, especially when using my brainstorming paradigm. Again, I'm going to leave these all in a Google Doc in the description, so you can just have fun, plug and play, and use it to your advantage. Next prompting use case that I use 01 for is drawing deeper connections between 2 different subjects. When you have loads and loads of information, 2 different subjects, things can get messy. So let's consolidate that information in 01. So I have quite a simple prompt here compared to the last brainstorming paradigm that we ran through. It says, based on the research provided, tell me how X is so revolutionary when used with X. So when you're using this prompt, this isn't necessarily a set prompt you have to use. There might be some different wordplay, but think about how you can draw connections between 2 different things, because the parallels that 01 can see is unlike any other large language model. So I'm going to be taking a tactical approach to this and making it geared towards this video. So what I have here is this white paper on chain of thought prompting that was released January 10th of 2023. So they're finally just implementing chain of thought prompting into these models in order to reason with their responses before actually giving you an output, which I think is just awesome. More accuracy, less hallucination, and more quality outputs. You know, I could sacrifice speed for that any day of the week. But anyway, let's get into this. We have this white paper here. What I can do is I can just copy all the information. Now, when 01 supports PDFs and images, that will be absolutely insane. But for now, we just have to copy and paste certain things into here. So I'm just going to copy and paste these 10 pages all the way up to the conclusion into ChatGPT 01. I'm just going to enter down a couple of times and paste it in. And then in place of my X here, I can say, tell me how chain of thought prompting is so revolutionary when used with, or instead of used with, I can say used internally in large language models. Beautiful. And so we have chain of thought prompting. How is it so revolutionary when used internally with large language models? That's kind of what this is going over. And you could even upload this research if you wanted to. But I think it's kind of cool to let 01 run with the idea of chain of thought prompting and see how it's so powerful when used internally in large language models. Then I can say without the user physically prompting. Beautiful. I can send it off because, again, we have the 10-page PDF all pasted in here, ready to go. When 01 can support PDFs, that's going to be absolutely insane. But let's send it off. As you can see, this
Fuck me! Cockfucker! Scumbag! Holy shit! No way! Malfunction! Fuck me! Piece of shit! Here I come! Inbred moron! fuckhead. OSG! Shit, gotta reload. Cocksucker! Cocksucker! Fuck you, you motherfucker!